Hi, I'm Marlo from Wild Food UK. We're out foraging in a very unusual place at the moment, and that's because we had a bit of a hot tip on something that we might find, and really I'm a little bit underdressed, I think. I should have combed my hair and put a tie on because I'm in the presence here of mushroom royalty as far as I'm concerned. So if you could come down here and have a little look. This was the first one that I spotted in the wood chip that we've got here, and some of you might recognise that already. There are, if you follow me over this way, there's a few more youngsters around. I'll just try and get my shadow out of the shot. There's one here that's started to dry out, so he's one that needs to be picked soon, but there's a younger one here, looks like he's been trodden on, and a very healthy looking younger one here. And then over here, we've got some far more mature ones that I've already picked so that I can show you, hopefully, the key identifiers beside a nice sow thistle here. So there's a lovely big mature specimen. You can see a bit lighter than the ones that are still growing. And there's a slightly smaller one. See that honeycomb structure with tinges of black all over it. And then the key identifier is that honeycomb structure is kind of at one with the stem of the mushroom, and it's a hollow mushroom, and that makes this the Morchella elata, or formerly I believe Morchella elata. It's now I think known as the Morchella importuna. And that makes this one of the most sought after mushrooms in the whole of the foraging world, especially in the UK, because they're actually reasonably rare in the UK. We generally only find these growing in wood chip, and I think that one of the common names for this is actually the wood chip morel. This is probably imported wood chip. So at the moment, from March through to June, you want to be looking in wood chip for these mushrooms. It does have some poisonous lookalikes, one particularly nasty, probably deadly poisonous lookalike. That's the Gyrometra esculenta, which is known as the false morel, and it's very different when you cut it in half. That's why I was pointing out the hollow structure on this morel here. On the Gyrometra, you would see more of a kind of brain-like pocketed structure on the inside of the mushroom. And that would tell you that you had the Gyrometra. There's also a couple of others that are reasonably similar, the Verpiconicas one, and this one's slightly less illustrious brother, the semi-free morel, the Morchella semilibera, is one that we actually find reasonably commonly in the UK, growing with, I think that one likes growing with ash trees, but it will grow with a few different species. Now, difference between this and the semilibera is that the cap, as the scientific name would suggest, is semi-free with the semilibera. So the stem would run up to about here, and the honeycomb structure of the cap would point out in that direction, as my finger's doing there. Now, it doesn't matter if you've mistaken one of these for a semilibera. They're edible, they're just not quite as tasty as these. The Gyrometra is definitely one that you do not want to mistake this for, because like I said, it's potentially deadly poisonous. Now, the morel, this is one that chefs will pay a fortune for, and to be honest, I'd probably pay a fortune for people to tell me where the morels are growing, because like I say, they're reasonably uncommon in the UK, and this is a fantastic find for us. It is a toxic mushroom when raw. So you do have to cook this mushroom well. It can cause, I think, severe stomach pains have been listed as one of the symptoms of people eating morels raw, and certainly gastric upset. So if you are lucky enough to find one of these beauties, then please make sure you cook them before you eat them. This is the wood chip side, the elata side, or the dark side of the morel family. You've also got the esculenta side of the family. That's a yellow version of the morel, and not one that I've ever seen in the UK, so I'm not sure whether it does grow on our shores. I've seen videos of it in the northern United States in abundance though, so I think that's a mushroom that hopefully some of my American friends might bring me over as a present one day. But anyway, today I am a very happy forager. Morels, or the black morel. Morel, I think, comes from an old German word for mushroom. Here we are. This is what they look like. Just one last little close-up of the honeycomb structure, just so that you can see what you're looking for. And then again, one last little close-up of what they look like when you cut them in half, because that is really important for a key identifier, to make sure that you're not mistaking this for its potentially deadly look-alike, the false morel. Now, like I said, I'm a very happy forager, and I'm going to go off home and cook a few of these and enjoy my afternoon tea. If you want to find out more, go to www.wildfooduk.com.
And that's getting everything at the end.